Finesse got beats.
Bad man, son.
Day, everybody. People always ask me, Finesse, I need your bio. I told myself, if I was to write a bio, it'd be a book. Really. I've done a lot over a long period of time. So for me to put that into words is kind of, I won't say difficult, just tedious, and I'd rather do it this way. You can see it for yourself. They say seeing is believing, and you can hear it for yourself. So with that being said, me and Mr. Shamar Martin, we're going to put together this biopic documentary so you can know a little bit more about me, what you don't already know, what I've done, where I've been, etc. So I hope you enjoy. Cheers, family and music.
Finesse got beats.
There's a lot of people know me from Citizen Kane album in 1999 2000. That was my first real situation being in the music industry and not just being in the streets, you know what I'm saying, like producing music for your friends and mixtapes and all that. So that's where it all started. Did the Citizen Kane album. They did really well, you know what I'm saying, like critical acclaim type joint. It was featured in a lot of magazines. They also did a documentary on the band while we were making the album called Raising Kane, so y'all can look that up. But that went on to do really well too. Won a bunch of awards, you know what I'm saying? It was on HBO, went to Cannes, you know what I'm saying? Like went to a lot of different film festivals around the world. It was a dope experience, so that gave me a lot of insight on what the music business really is and how to maneuver. And I was really young at that time, so I was kind of ignorant, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I was hard-headed. But, you know, shout out to Big Brother Jeff, Big Brother Rob, Big Brother Adrian, everybody who was around Canaan at that time. They're a little bit older than me, so they're like my big brothers, so I learned a lot from them. So once I did that, I think I went back to Miami for a bit, because that's where I was raised. I was born in Toronto, but I was raised in Miami. I graduated high school out of Southridge, Dade County. So I went back to Miami for a bit, and I came back and decided to do my own thing as an artist this time instead of a producer. Did that, did the whole artist run, did a song called I Love You. I did really well. That song ended up being stolen by one of the major players in the game right now. He wasn't really that major back then, but right now he's like one of the gods of hip hop. Stole some of my material, so that kind of broke me down and I didn't want to do music no more. Stuck in Miami for a bit, you know what I'm saying? Shook it off, came back, and you know, decided to tie the knot, have a kid, you know, so my perspective changed a whole lot. So I put down the artistry, some time and put a lot of my time into my son. You know what I'm saying? The Prince Eli Bush boy. You know what I'm saying? So we on to the next chapter. Now that he's, you know, at an age where he can think for himself, feel for himself, articulate for himself. Now it's time for Pops to get back on the go and do what I do best, which is me, which is music. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at. Actually, you got a little bit of time. I'm actually here right now, about to pick up my son from school. You know, real daddy life. You can see it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? About to pick up my son from school. See the school right there.
What's up, fam?
What's up?
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
I'm always good, bro.
How are you, sir? How are you, buddy? Good? How are you? One of the spots. One of the studios where we do some of our work at Grassroots Media. Brand new facility. I was here from the beginning, where there's nothing, and I'll show you all that later in the documentary. After you, sir.
Finesse copy.
Bad man, son.
How are you doing out there? I'm Vance McKenzie from Vance World Media. Just talking about a mutual friend, associate, artist, extraordinaire. I'm talking about Finesse. Didn't understand. But listen, this guy is a very solid character. I know his uncle very well. So I am, being an older guy, I kind of transitioned into their generation. And we have a great relationship. So I love his work. I love his attitude. I love his drive. I love his dedication that he just, no matter what, he just will dedicate his whole soul, body, mind to the craft.
Yep, so back to it. I come from a very musical family. Funny thing is, when I was young, I didn't even want to do it. Because when I was brought to the studio, Pops is the most boring thing in the world for me back in the day. All I wanted to do was go outside, play video games, run after girls and all that. So for me, it was like going to the studio was crazy boring. But eventually, I became a teenager, a young adult, I think like 12, 13, and I fell in love with DJing, you know what I'm saying? Bought my first mixer and 2 turntables, Geminis, some real crappy turntables, but I worked the crap out of those turntables. Became crazy on it. So I fell in love with DJing, and after that, my pops is like, you know you're playing the records that I produce. I was like, yeah? What you mean? He's like, yeah, that same studio you don't like going to, that's how you make records like that you're playing on the turntables that you be spinning at your parties. that's how you do it. I'm like, oh, okay. So my thought process changed and started getting into production a little bit more. So from then, as a young adult, moved to Florida. Culture shock for me. Because I came from a town full of hip hop and moved to a town full of bass music. I used to call it booty music. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the group? Luke. You know what I'm saying? Like, 69 Boyz, Trick Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a certain sound back in the day. It wasn't really trap. It was more like bounce, like party music, like turn up music, more or less. And that wasn't really my thing. So I came back to Toronto. And my daughter ended up staying too long in the country. Then I was banned from the States for about 7 years. So from there, I just grind it out and just stack the catalog, make sure that I put the work in, so when everything freed up, I can get back on the road and do what I gotta do. Recently, I worked with Michie. I'm on her new album. I got 2 joints on there. And shout out to my other Guyanese brothers on there, Smoke Shop, Big Snaz. Work with Maestro. You already know I work with Citizen Kane. I work with a lot of people within the city, like, I wouldn't say the majority, but a lot of the local artists I work with, or they know of me. You know what I'm saying? I put together a group called Danny Boyz. It's doing really well in a very short period of time, but then internal, issues. So the group disbanded, but the catalog is still there, so we're still working with the catalog. Recently did K Victoria's new single called DJ My Body. She's from LA. I'm just constantly working, just constantly doing stuff. I'm working with Jamari Ferrari, phenomenal writer from the States. You know what I'm saying? He's out in Cali right now doing his thing. He just did a big record for Shaka Khan. He's working with some really big artists, so I have the pleasure of working with him, doing records with him. My big brother Robert Ross, shout out to you. He's a big reason why I'm still pushing, because he believes in me. You know what I'm saying? And he's put me in the right direction. He just got appointed to council on SRG and Priority Records. So I'm in a different headspace now. Now I'm back to creating and moving things along. As far as the catalog and the work, man, I'm a hoarder. I hoard beats. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got soulful joints. I do trap. I could do pop. I do EDM. I do house. I'm just a musical being, so I create a lot of content. So right now, my mentality is not managing artists, it's managing content. And I'm not running after a record deal. I'm running after sync and licensing. Yeah, another big part of my my musical journey, learning about the music business, is from a gentleman by the name of Frank Wilson, the owner of Nuff Entertainment. Nuff Entertainment was an independent distribution company. They were, I believe, the first or one of the first to put out the reggae gold CDs, when you saw the sexy girls on the covers with the, the colors and all that. They had them in the HMVs. But besides that, his first record that he ever pushed and made an international hit was Eddie Grant. They're best friends. So I had the opportunity to become the hip-hop A&R for his company, Nuff Entertainment. That's where I met a lot of MCs, a lot of producers, took a lot of people under my wing, taught them a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always try to give back and teach those who want to listen and learn. I don't feed pearls to swine, but those who want to get those pearls and receive those gems, I'm willing to share always. So that experience was pretty cool for me. And it was actually right at the phase when CDs were becoming obsolete and MP3s because of this company called Napster. So the whole dynamic was changing from you having a warehouse full of CDs to now having things online in the air, MP3s. So the whole game changed, you know what I'm saying? So we had to adjust or whatnot. And the story continues. But shout out to Frank Willison for showing me, you know, how to be an industry professional, how to organize, how to own your catalog, how to, you know, negotiate, stand on your own too. Don't go with your hands out, go with your hands folded. You know, big part of learning that is at Enough Entertainment. So shout out to you, Frank. Shout out to you, Eddie Grant. You know what I'm saying? I also got to big up a family friend of ours named John Chetty. I never knew John Chetty until I met Vance. True story. John Chetty comes to the studio and Vance is like, "Hey John, this is Reggie's son." And John goes to me, "You look like your mother more than your father." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you look like your mother more than your father." So what that means to me is this man really knows me because he knows my mother. My mother passed away a very long time ago, rest in peace, when I was just a young teenager. So for him to say that means that he knows me from when I was just a jit. But this man is also a pioneer in Canadian music, on the Blue Note. You know what I'm saying? Like, all my family members, friends, all that, heavy cats. So the story continues, family and music. You know what I'm saying? Peace and love.